So most Asian men don't actually realize this, but we have a very unique problem when it comes to fitness. And it really has nothing to do with willpower, it has nothing to do with motivation. It's about way we've been raised, the stories that we inherited. It's the emotional wiring that kind of got us here. In this video, I'm going to break down why so many Asian men are stuck with low energy, stubborn belly fat, and this quiet gnawing of frustration with their own bodies. Even though on paper, they've done everything right. We're going to talk about the culture, the identity, the discipline, and how we can actually untrain what no longer serves us. And if you're like me, you probably grew up with food as love. Like my grandma just literally just made me eat so much. Sundays, dim sum, family dinners, sharing food was really how we're bonded. So here is the kicker. You were probably told to finish every single grain of rice because wasting food was disrespectful. And I get it. Our parents came from a lot of struggle. My parents immigrated here with nothing, and if you want to guess where, drop it in the comments. Most people can't actually guess where my parents are from, but with that mentality, it really created something a little bit deeper. It's a pattern, a habit of overeating, ignoring hunger cues, and tying your self-worth to finishing your plate. It's the same thing with maximizing value. If you ever go to Hotpot, you're told to eat all the meat. Why? Because that's like the most expensive item. You're just going to eat until you literally cannot breathe anymore. You're conditioned to get your money's worth. But that's the exact mindset that leads to unconscious overconsumption. It's cultural, it's emotional, it's deeply ingrained. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a story about my mom. She's basically my hero. But it wasn't always like this. A few years ago, she went through a really, really scary, terrifying heart scare. And I actually wasn't sure how her health would hold up. And she was super sedentary. She basically just worked all the time, really, really high stress job. And she had a lot of anxiety, right? And I kind of just grew up thinking my mom was like always worrying about me, and she was always just like nagging me. But I remember that moment where I would just tell my mom, be like, Mom, you gotta like, eat better. You have to work out. And she would just never listen to me. Everything changed once I got my doctor of physical therapy degree and actually changed my life where I had all the tools. For me, it was like, if I couldn't help my own mom change her life, like what was I actually doing? So this is the thing that really helped. I had to be the walking example. And me begging her and it just would not work. Me telling her what to do, it would not work. It literally was like me being that role model, that person, and walking with her every single freaking day, training with her every single day because it's really, really important. Now, she's active. She walks every single day. She exercises all the time. She's literally asking me like, how do I make this exercise harder? And for me, that's like probably one of the most rewarding moments in my life to know that I was able to help change the trajectory of someone I love, not from telling them, but by leading them, by actually doing it with them and supporting them. For a lot of Asian men, we grew up in homes where work was like everything. My parents worked two jobs and my grandparents basically raised us, right? We were taught to be super disciplined, right? But never, directed inwards. It was never directed towards like anything else but ourselves. We were taught to, become doctors, accountants, something safe. You were just taught to provide, but you're never taught to feel proud of who you are. You're never taught to actually express what you actually need. And so now you built the life, but you feel a little bit off. Personally, for me, I had to really rewire that. I'm going to show you how you can do it too. I had to unlearn all of that. I had to stop living so safe, so much scarcity. I had to ask myself, what was the type of life that I wanted to live? Not the life that my culture pushed me towards, but a life that makes me feel alive. For me, that's waking up, leading people, feeling energized. That's so important. Giving without expectation, having a cup and overflowing with abundance, being present with my family, living in the moment. And to do that, I needed to build a body that reflects that level of standard and presence. For me, fitness was not just about how it looked. It became a very spiritual place, actually, of self-respect. But that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to walk into the mirror, look at yourself, like fucking look at yourself, and be super proud of that person that's staring back at you. When you can get to that self-love, I remember listening to this podcast the other day. It was Will Smith. And this person he was talking about like the cliff top theory. I'm going to butcher this, but I think it's quite important. For him, he's achieved so much. He's had the material, the wealth, like the fame, everything. So he got to the point where nothing made him super happy. So what did he have to do? He's describing like the top of the cliff as rock bottom. He's exactly the same. Like nothing was able to make him happy. So like what did he have to do? He had to look deeply inside of him and generate that self-love. That self-love, that self-respect is so important because whatever is going on in the world, that's really not out of you can't really control any of that stuff. But the things that you can control, yourself, your self-love, how you can generate joy, how you can generate love for yourself, that is powerful. And it always comes back to yourself, how you actually treat yourself. So for me, how I actually rewired this, I had to learn so much of that. I really had to ask myself this question. What type of life do I want to live? The way I want to live my life is going to be really different to how you want to live your life. But it's really, really important. So many people in this world, they kind of are in the passenger seat in life. You know, one of the questions I often ask my clients would be, what's your goal? Let's talk about weight loss. Yeah, man, Dex, I want to lose like 20 pounds. Cool. Why? Oh, because my doctor told me to. Well, first off, your doctor does not dictate your life. What is the type of life that you want? If you had to create the 2.0 version of yourself where you're waking up super happy, what is that person actually doing? Dex, I really never actually thought about that. Okay, well, if you think about it now, what does that person actually look like? Where do you want to go travel? Where do you want to go? Like, what's the place? What do you actually want to look like? For me, that was such an important question because then now you can put yourself in a place where this is the person you want to be. And part of that, depending on where you're at, most people that I work with, they want to be the best version of themselves. They want to be healthy, fit. They want to look amazing. Not for like everyone else, but for themselves. For me, that really meant building structure, creating energy on demand, becoming the kind of man who shows up with discipline and, more importantly, love and presence, regardless of stress, regardless of work, regardless of travel. And here is basically how I did. I'm going to tell you what I did. There's a 5-step reset that's really going to change your life. Step number 1 is win the first 90 minutes of your day. Okay? Put your hardest task that you need to do first. That is the most important. There's going to be tasks that's going to be important and urgent, but there's also going to be tasks that's important and not urgent. That's going to move the needle forward. Make sure you prioritize these things. Oftentimes, the hardest thing you want to do is going to be that. So instead of waking up first thing in the morning, go straight to your emails, become super reactive, and you go into the place of like, man, calm down. Reclaim your emotional state. Reclaim it. Generate your emotional state from where you want to be. You know, today, this morning, I'm going to wake up with joy. I'm going to wake up with love, right? From here, the stuff that I do for the first 90 minutes is basically wake up, I drink my water, I go walk over, I go to my journal right away. I don't even look at my phone. From here, I start to write down 5 things that I'm super grateful for. Super easy stuff. Then I just start with a 5-minute meditation and then just do a little bit of a flow for mobility, and that's like the start of my day. From there, I go straight to my Notion to-do list, and I have 3 things that I need to complete in that morning, and I just get straight to work. And for me, I just bang that out first thing in the morning when my brain is fresh, and from there, I already won the day. These are the things that's going to move things forward. And I know that if I do this every single freaking day, I'm going to keep progressing. If you can continue doing this for the rest of your life, you're always going to progress. So even if things become reactive or things, is out of your control, at least you know you won the day from just implementing this strategy. The second thing that you're going to do is really implement a strategy around nutrition. Now, culturally, there's a lot of carb heavy things, but there also is really like protein heavy things. So like when you go to Hot Pot, right? You just need a meal structure that fits your Asian upbringing. For me personally, I can't just eat steaks every single freaking day. I could if I wanted to, but I need to sprinkle some Asian food in me. So like, how do you actually do that? This is super simple, especially depending on the phase you're at. If you want to get from 25% to like 15% body fat, this will probably help you, but 15% to sub 10%, this is not going to work, just to let you know. But this is kind of like the theory that we like to do. Palm size, chicken, beef, tofu, fish. Fist, rice, noodles. 2 fists, cooked veggies and salad. Just do that. And you're going to cut out 300 to 500 calories every single day without thinking about it. Step number 3 is add non-negotiable window of actual exercise. Do not wait for, hey, I'm going to fit this in when my kids are ready. Put it into your calendar. Put it into your calendar, set an alarm, and implement this. If it's on your calendar, you're not going to implement this. And if your health is truly a priority, the first thing you can look at is look at your calendar. Are you implementing things that's actually important? Then you look at your bank account. Are you actually doing things that's actually important? This is just so important to start building the habits. Habit is the thing that's going to help you continue on doing this thing for a long period of time. Identity is part of that habit. When you can form a habit, it becomes who you are. And if it becomes who you are, this is the part where you don't need motivation or willpower. It's simply just part of your process. Oh, Dex, I'm so tired sometimes. The reason why you're tired is because your capacity is pretty low, meaning you're not able to have the capacity to go for 30-minute walking. So what's going to happen is your energy level is going to increase proportionate to the level of capacity that you have. So there is going to be a point in time where it is going to be difficult. Why? Because your capacity is quite low and you're training it up. But it's going to get better. It's going to keep better as long as you continue doing the thing. Step number 4 is break the food guilt pattern. Whenever you go out to eat with your family, like that's part of life. You need to have a system for that. Stop seeing things as all or nothing. For instance, if you're at dim sum, have 1 or 2 things that you freaking absolutely love. Then focus on protein, green tea afterwards. Focus on the actual meat side of things. I think one of the biggest issues that we see is people kind of just like, oh man, this is not gonna work. I'm just gonna eat everything that I see on dim sum and screw my diet, like whatever it is. That's not gonna work. Really think about it as small wins. You know, like 80% of my food is gonna be nutritious, whole food, non-processed. 20% of it is gonna be my freaking dim sum. My C-long bows. I don't know. So I'm gonna have a little bit of pho here and there, a bit of sushi. You're not here to abuse yourself. You don't need to eat with so much guilt or scarcity. You can integrate this seamlessly into your life. Step number 5 is track your energy, not just your weight. I think a lot of people just obsess over the scale. But the truth is, if you weighed exactly the same, but you now have bricks for abs, would you be okay with that? If that's the case, why are you looking at the thing that doesn't really matter? The thing that actually matters is your body fat percent. So if that's the thing that actually matters, get data around it. People think, oh man, I'm gonna go get an in-body scan or a DEXA scan and that's all I need to do. That is not what you need to do. That's just a measuring tool. That's like an MRI. So many people, even in the health space, they have this preconceived notion that, hey, I got like shoulder pain, MRI is gonna fix it. No, MRI doesn't do anything. All it does is it tells you what's actually going on. And most of the time, like it tells you the thing that is not even that helpful unless it's a sinister pathology. It's the same thing for a DEXA scan. Having a DEXA scan will just tell you the data. It's up to you to create a process to see how your body reacts. So that's why our clients, they might lose in 3 weeks, like they might lose 0 pounds. But we found a protocol that literally helps them lose 10 pounds of fat and gain 10 pounds of muscle. For us, net zero, but lost 20 pounds total. For us, that's actually a home run because you literally lost 10 pounds of fat, gained 10 pounds of muscle. Like that is insane. 3 weeks is kind of quick for that, by the way. So for here, it's really about tracking the thing that actually matters. Track the body fat percentage and ask yourself this. Did I actually feel powerful today? Score your energy, your mood, your focus from 1 to 10. How's your hydration? How's your sleep? Are you actually implementing a recovery protocol so that you can build muscle adequately? When you lead with energy, the abs just come automatically. So as you can kind of know, guys, like this is not about just being perfect. It's really about becoming powerful through structure. The guys that I coach, they're not trying to become influencers. They're not trying to be like bodybuilders. Like I'm not a bodybuilder at all. They're just trying to build a body that makes them absolutely proud. When they look in the mirror, they're just so proud of that version of themselves. They feel strong on vacation. They're able to take off their shirt at the beach. They're confident at work. They're present at home. So if you're ready to lead yourself like that, start with these 5 things. They completely changed my life. They changed my mom's life. And I promise you, they're going to change yours. Thanks for checking out my video. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. There's more videos right over here.